welcome back to Maypole Farm. And if you watched yesterday's Attingen video, I'm afraid there's more rolling. I'm recording the commentaries back to back, so for me we're straight into a second set rolling, and we're going to go for the 4-meter old ring roller because it's really cheap. It's only $3,000. We're going to buy it, which is quite rare for me on here. And it's 60 horsepower, and the little Ursus, I'm sure it's an Ursus, is 59 horsepower. So we should be good, hopefully. I was a bit nervous that it might be a bit heavy on the 3-point on the back because it looks freaking huge on this little tractor. But actually it was okay, so we should be good. Before we get into that, we're actually going to do a few things up at the store. I mentioned in the last video that it'd be really nice to have a loader or a forklift up here. And we're going to sort that out. So it's going to be owned by the store, and it's going to be the JCB Telly truck. The age is ever so slightly wrong. This came out from my Googling in 97. We're doing up to 95, but I think it's going to be okay. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy the Telly truck and a set of forks, and then I'm going to set my money back to where it was, and this will just live up at the store. I'm going to use parked vehicles so that I can't tab to it, and there's no way I can be bothered to drive this thing between the farm and the store and the farm behind the scenes because it's so slow. They did realize they didn't have enough cash, so we're going to have to F12 in some cash to buy it, and then we'll sort it out. But I really, I think that will make things much better for loading up stuff when we're at the shop. And partly that is because as part of better contracts, I've talked about it on Discord a tiny bit, you can now add things like fertilizer and seed to custom setups. So I've got that on here, and I thought it would be cool to have to come up to the store, pick all the kit up, and load up the seed. So I had planned to do a fertilizing job, which is why I've brought the Deutz up with our fertilizer spreader. But in my faffing, and I think it was probably literally the save and reload as I added in the Telly truck, because I wanted to find something that was sort of right to add in. It's just there. Yeah, just on there. The contract that I wanted to do went away, so I'm just resetting the money back to 32,550. I had to just go and check that that value was right, because as I was recording I couldn't quite remember. And yeah, we've got a little JCB Telly truck at the store now. So it's just, like I said in the last video, I was doing the R button to reload stuff, and I'm trying not to do that on here, trying to load everything properly. So we've now got the Telly truck to be able to do that. I was just about to accept the fertilizing contract that I wanted to do, but it is not here. There are some big contracts. But I just want to have one of the guys working in the background whilst I do the rolling. So I'm going to pick up that seeding contract. It's quite close to the store. It pays quite well, and it'll be quite quick. So yeah, I don't know why I decided to park the Telly truck out of the way. Because we're going to need it to load up, but I think I was maybe hoping that the fert contract would come back. There's some cultivating, there's some ploughing, there's a lot of harvesting. I do think that in the next video we'll pick up one of those big beet harvesting contracts. If we could get fields 1 and 2, that'd be really good because they're right next to each other. And we could take the kit from both, and we'd have loads of stuff, and it'd be yeah, that'd be fun, I think. We don't really, well, some extra beets would be useful. We have some in the shed still from our harvest last year. But for now, we're going to be doing this sowing contract. So I'm going to say it now whilst I can make a note of it, because again, like in the last video, you guys here aren't here to remind me. I just want to say thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members. Really appreciate you guys supporting the channel. And yeah, thank you. I'm not going to do the long spiel that I did in yesterday's video. Something that I was going to add a new feature to the videos, which was going to be, and I wasn't sure which video it would be in. It was going to be comment of the week, and I wanted to highlight, the comment that interested me the most or got the most conversation or whatever. And I had one picked out for this week that I wanted to highlight. You know, it was really articulate. It was well formed. It was thought provoking. You know, it really added, I thought, to the engagement and the community and stuff. But some of you may know that I watch Linus Tech Tips. There's a little guy on YouTube. Yeah, just has a little YouTube channel, and one of the writers for that channel has created an internal document for theirs. They didn't share it, but they talked about it on their podcast that they do. It's just a guide to writing and creating good YouTube videos. And within that, they have something called the laws of Linus, because it's Linus Tech Tips. And one of them is to be nice to your viewers or your audience. So unfortunately, I can't really highlight the comment of the week this week, because it's really hard to be nice to this person with their their really detailed, well thought out, well constructed, thought provoking comment. So maybe next week we'll have something. But yeah, so I have to be nice. I mentioned it on a comment that Kartek made, that I have to be nice to well, they recommend you be nice to your audience. So I have to stop taking the pee out of him when he does funny stuff. Anyway, that aside, it's been quite a good week for getting stuff done, I think. You know, we've got most of the getting started with videos done now. I want to try and get the sheep one out later. Not the sheep. Oh, flashbacks to sheep's, chickens, getting confused. The pigs one done. And then we'll maybe do horses. People care so little about horses in this game. It's a weird one to even bother with, maybe. And as I said yesterday, I really want to get and what inspired it is the Courseplay Combine Unload, because I'm going to be using the Combine later, or a Combine later, and I do spend quite a while trying to get it to work, and I could not. So I want to crack that. If you've got it to work, then, or you've seen someone else get it to work, let me know, because it really bugs me that I can't get it to work. So that's something that I really want to get done, because I've not really seen anyone use it yet. Now, I don't watch a huge range of farm content creators, so maybe someone is, and if they are, then let me know, because I'd really like to see how it works. Yeah, so as I said yesterday, I'm still away in the same lovely hotel. Today will be assuming this releases the 25th, which should be today if you're watching this video on the day of release, is the last chance to enter the giveaway for a copy of Warhammer 40,000. That's over on the not the last Attingen video, the one before. So that was episode 23 of Attingen Park. Go watch that video, it will tell you how to enter it. And I'll be drawing that tomorrow. Yeah, it's a Zetor, not an Ursus. Wow, that's embarrassing. Oh well, I should know it's a Zetor. It's a Z or Z, depending on how you say it. This little tractor is doing a cracking job handling this roller. I was impressed. As I said, when I bought it and I saw how big it was, I thought we might have to switch to the Fiat, because the Deutz is up at the store with the guy running the seeding contract. And I did a great little job, and I do love getting to use the different tractors on here. I mean, in theory, the Fiat can do pretty much everything. It's a load of track. It's not got a front 3-point, so it can't do the direct feed, the zero grazing, I guess. You will see. I don't know if I spoke about it in previous. I have mowed the headlands on here to get some free grass, basically, because we were kind of short of grass in the main field. So it is growing. It's grown, and there is some there now to cut. But yeah, the headlands are essentially, at this point, because there are no crops in the ground, they're free grass, you know? So might as well make use of it. It's just, in reality, God, get your words out, man. I quite often walk the dogs around some of the fields on the farm that's nearest to me, and I quite often run around some of those fields as well. Probably wouldn't want to try and mow the headlands. They are not the sort of grass that you might get a hedge cutter along them. In fact, I think that's what they do where I am. I think they in fact, I know they do because last year when they were harvesting, they had someone out with a tractor with hedge cutters on it to chop down all the headlands before they brought the combine along to harvest crops. So I do know that they use a hedge cutter to keep the headlands under control where I am. So you definitely wouldn't be running a mower and a forage wagon over it to pick up the grass that you cut. But it's farm sim, so you know. I'm just going to stick a few headlands in here now because we need quite a bit of space to turn around with this old tractor and this fairly wide roller. I do think it looks comically wide. I wonder whether the weight's wrong in the mod. It feels like it should be heavier to me. I don't know. Curious what people think. I've also been playing with transitions, as you will have just seen. I used to put in a lot more different transitions, and then I got to the point, there's more so where I've got game sound. But doing different transitions takes a little bit more work with it. Not a lot, just a little bit. And so I quite often just do the default one between clips. But I've been throwing in some different ones this time. I have no idea if any of you notice or care, but I was kind of pleased that I was putting a little bit more effort into the editing. I generally don't like it when videos have really sharp transitions between clips, so that's why I generally do a kind of crossfade between the two, because DaVinci Resolve, the editing software that I use, does that almost automatically, but it has some really nice effects in it, so I wanted to use some of them. DaVinci Resolve actually, again, some of you might not care. DaVinci Resolve, if you make videos for anything, DaVinci Resolve is a really powerful free video editing software. There are two versions. There's a free version and a paid version. The free version has almost all of the features of the paid version. It's a little bit more complicated to get to grips with to use because it's kind of professional level editing software, but it's really worth it. And there are really good tutorials out there on YouTube if you make videos, so yeah, it's definitely worth a look. I used to use another free program which was not so good, but DaVinci Resolve, really good, really like it. I'm making pretty good progress now, so I think I stuck 4 to 5 headlands at the top and bottom of the field, which gave me pretty much enough room to turn around. There were some, so we had some seed left over. I didn't want to get paid for it, so I've unloaded it up at the store, and we've then collected the contract for £4,300. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep any excess seed and fertilizer that we get up at the store so that we can use it for other contracts. Or I might just go in and delete it now because it's the only seed bag of that type. So that might be better, actually. I might just go in and delete it. I like that idea better. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm just going to delete it. I feel, and I don't know about you guys, if I'm working for a farmer planting his field, you can see the Deutz is just coming back. That's why I put this clip in. It's just parked behind the cow shed. If I'm doing a seeding or a fertilizing or whatever job for a different farmer, it feels like he should provide the product. I get that he might want us to use our own kit, so he charges us a bit to use his kit, but it feels like he should be paying for the seed and the fert, so yeah. It's part of better contracts. I think it only works on the custom setups because you need to define it in your custom setup, but it's really cool. I decided to time-lapse this bit because I'd been going a while. There are only so many minutes of me rolling a field that you can want to watch, particularly if you watch yesterday's video as well, although I did cut a fair bit of it out. Something that I've been struggling with a bit lately with the Let's Play videos is I like to have a big job to do when I come into a Let's Play video. And apart from the bailing that I've been doing, most of the saves are at a point where there aren't that big job, or it felt like there weren't. And so I was really struggling with what am I going to do in the next video and putting off playing, which is weird. So what I decided, and it kicked in with the last Attingen video that came out yesterday, just going to play the game. So whatever jobs need doing, we're going to do them. If there isn't much to do, then we'll do something else. Yeah, I go through it sometimes. The decision paralysis is something that I struggle with weirdly playing a video game. You'll have seen it if you watch regularly. You know, sometimes I struggle to pick what bit of kit I'm going to use or what tractor I want to buy and that kind of thing. So now I'm just going to, in all of the videos, play Farm Sim. And that might mean that some of the videos, some of the jobs are not so huge, but we'll be making progress, and that's the thing. And I'll be having fun playing the game that I enjoy playing. So that's a change that I'm making. So I tend to make notes between videos of what job I want to do next, and it got to the point where I stopped doing that, and B, the job didn't look like it was big enough to actually warrant making a video. So next job is we need to sell the calves. We've had them a day, I think, so they're up to 100% health. So annoyingly, there's £1,200 to lease the trailer that I wanted to use, and I think that's more than the cost of selling the calves. Not my brightest financial decision. While we're up there, we are going to bring back another 12 18-month-old Holsteins so we can expand the herd. It's going to be 10 months before they're milking, but the sooner we buy them, the sooner we'll get to that point. And as I've said it a few times, I'm going to split them between the two sheds. So each shed will have 18 cows in now. I think we're in a good place with feed to be able to feed them, hopefully. There are a lot of bailing contracts, and there is a chance that in October or maybe November, if the grass is still about, we'll sneak in a bailing contract to pick up some more bales. We'll see how we're doing. We may just keep progressing time. I do have, I said it last time and I've not told you what it is. I have some different things planned to do in the winter in this series. So kind of looking forward to that. Not sure how it's going to work, but I think it'll be an interesting little distraction. And it's just, rather than, quite often what I do is just feed all the animals and skip through winter, and for this I'm going to not do that. We're going to do something different. Guess is below, I guess, maybe. Yep, so we're up at the animal dealer and we are going to get these calves sold. The benefit of this trailer is I can do all 12 that I need to do in one run. We could have gone for one of the smaller trailers that I use quite often on some of the other saves, which are a lot cheaper, but this one will do the job. And we're not in a bad place financially on here, considering we don't have any debt, which is unusual for me. £1,800 to sell those, so we made it. Yeah, it's covered the cost of the trailer plus a little bit. And we're going to get 12 of these, which is going to be nearly £19,000. But I think we're in a good place to be able to afford that. The second set of cows that we brought are, I think, something like 2 months from producing milk. So again, we're going to be much better then in terms of regular income. That will really change things for us. There are a lot of contracts about at the moment, but there won't be through the winter, and that's when having the milk will pay off. I don't think don't know. I think I was doing a lot more contracts in this kind of phase when we started the game, but I'm not sure. No, it's not what you want to do. You pick the wrong one. There we go. And you're going to select and you're going to move 6. So we'll have 18 in each pen. It just keeps the feeding a bit more balanced than having... I don't remember how many of these hold. I should have probably noticed when I was just unloading those ones, but I think 24 or maybe a bit more. But I'm not too worried about whether we can fit in all the calves or not. We can, you know, the real useful thing out of these cows is the milk that they're producing for us. So 45. Oh, so we're fine. We're fine. Even when all of these are producing calves, we'll be fine. Let's return the trailer. And I think next we're probably going to do a contract. I think. Quick peek. They're going to need some more feed before I skip time. But for now, I think they're okay. Yeah. So, and here we are. So corn harvesting contract. If you're using this setup, I don't know if it's just this field because I'm sure I tested it. I found that the capella header was pushing into the ground and stopping the combine working, so I had to download the tool height adjust version and swap that in. It goes a bit fast, so I've actually got cruise control set on here at 8 miles an hour and it's still too fast. But what I did is I let it chop a headland and then I spent a bit of time trying to get the course play combine unload to work, and I failed spectacularly. I will get it to work, I will conquer it, but for now I've not been able to. It's yeah, I don't know why. It just doesn't seem to want to work for me. It just sits and waits and doesn't actually move, so that was a bit annoying. So first load of corn. Because I'm playing with the trailer weight limit in, we can only fit 7,000 litres in the trailer rather than 8,000 litres. Probably need to get a bigger trailer as part of that contracting setup, maybe. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't that long a drive, so I basically let Courseplay run the combine while I casted for it, and at the same time I had a ploughing contract running over on field 88, I think it was. That had the Steiger, which is a nice tractor. At some point I'll show that off. That is a nice bit of kit. I did the one contract in the Kurovitz, and that was a nice tractor as well. The Steiger is, I think it's a bit bigger. I think it's slightly higher horsepower. It just feels like a big old chunky tractor. So yeah, we're just back over at the field, and combine is on its last cut in, so should be done fairly soon. And then we'll see how much corn we're going to get, because I kind of did it partly because it would be nice to get some corn. I think I end up learning kind of what I learned on Attingen with the oat harvesting contract, that actually it's probably better just to buy some. Because you don't get that much. Yeah, it was, again, it's what I've just been talking about. It was just the next thing to do on this save that I wanted to do. There are so, if I didn't have the 2 worker limit, I'd have so many contracts running on here. I think all those harvesting contracts just sat there. Yeah, it almost feels like a waste, but there are only so many we can do, and there are only so many you want to watch. I'm trying a lot more on here and on the other saves to play on like ×5 a lot more rather than ×1. Occasionally, if I'm doing stuff to go set up a contract for one of the workers, I'll slow the time down so that I'm not losing my time while the worker is off doing its job. But yeah, generally playing on ×5 to keep the game progressing. We are, I think, done. I think this is all of the corn that we need to drop off, and the ploughing contract has just finished as well. So it's pretty cool. We're going to get a nice little bit of cash in here, which, considering we just spent 18 grand buying Holsteins, is quite nice. Yep, so that's that contract done. A little bit over delivered there, but I didn't want to have to make an extra trip, basically, so I put a little bit more in than we needed. seemed like a better idea than doing 2 trips essentially. And this is all ours. Don't remember how much we got. I don't think it was that much. No, only a couple of thousand litres. I said it would have been better to just buy some probably, rather than do the contract to get the cash. So we got 6,200 for the ploughing contract by the time we paid leasing costs, which is not too bad. And it's going to be 2,800 for the harvesting plus the couple of thousand litres of corn that at some point we'll use probably in some sort of feed, or we'll sell it when the price is good. I haven't really decided yet what we're going to do with it. So just fancied doing a corn harvesting contract. It's kind of nice to test and learn that the setup is wrong. So I actually need to tweak that in my setup to put in that tool height adjust version of the header, because otherwise it just skims ground. We're going to get about 2,800 for this contract, and I am going to say thanks for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, click the like button, comments, questions, or suggestions below. And if you're new to the channel, then think about subscribing and turning on notifications, and I'll see you next time on Maypole Farm. There are our cows. They are very cowy.